Hi, I'm Amelia from Germany. Please like and subscribe. I live in a trailer shed in Berlin because my parents didn't make any money. I mean, I had food, a mattress, and running water, but that was basically it. My parents tried to get me toys and presents once in a while, even though it didn't go too well. I have a present for you, sweetie. They were giving away free books at the library.
Thanks, but you do realize almost all the pages are missing, right? Mom, I have an idea. What if I get a job and then we become billionaires?
You're in the 3rd grade, Amelia. I don't think that's possible. How could I argue with that? But a few months later, things took an insane turn. Mom had to work all weekend, so Dad decided to take me on a camping trip, just us.
And get bitten by 100 bugs? No thanks. I have enough mosquitoes in my room at night.
But Dad insisted. He borrowed a neighbor's van and we drove for 8 hours straight. God, it was crazy. Finally, we stopped at our destination, and I couldn't believe my eyes. We were standing in front of a palace.
I'd like you to meet your grandfather.
Just then, an old man came out and I was super confused. Then at dinner, my grandpa dropped a bombshell on me.
I wanted your father to marry a rich woman, but instead he marries someone who can't even buy her daughter a proper bed. I told him I'd only share my riches if he'd divorce her for someone else.
Actually, Amelia, I brought you here because I'm leaving your mom. I can't live in poverty any longer. We're moving in with my father, and you're going to have a new stepmom soon.
You can forget about me living with you. What, you were just gonna kidnap me and never tell Mom what happened to us? I don't ever want to see you. I don't even want to look at you. You're dead to me. How could Dad do something so sick? I had Mom pick me up after that, and when she found out what Dad was actually up to, she was horrified. I didn't see him again after that, and Mom told me everything. His parents never accepted me, so he cut them off. I never thought he would leave me. I'll never fall in love again with any man. That's okay, Mom. You don't need to marry anyone, and I don't want another mean dad. We can do this, just the two of us. It turned out we did make it on our own. After a couple of years, Mom finally found a new job that paid more, and we were able to move into a house. Everything was great. I was getting good grades in school, and I had tons of friends. But most importantly, I'd made a life-changing decision. I refused to talk to any guy around me. After what had happened with my dad and grandpa, I was convinced all guys were pigs. If a boy even sat next to me in class, I'd move 3 chairs down, and everyone thought I was crazy for it. Amelia's like an alien, as if she's never even seen a boy in her life. Maybe she thinks she's too good to talk to any guy at our school. Well, I didn't care what they said about me. I had created a boy-free life for myself, and I was loving it until one day my whole world came crashing down. In 10th grade, 2 twin brothers entered our school in a limo. They were dreamy billionaire heartthrobs named Dennis and Leon. All the girls were fawning over them except me. Then suddenly, as I walked down the hall, Leon pointed his finger at me.
You. I want this young lady to be my school guide for the day. You'll escort me to all my classes, fetch me my test answer sheets from the teacher's lounge, and of course, hey, you can't ask her to do all that. She's a girl. She should have someone escorting her. Show some respect.
Okay, first of all, girls don't need anyone to escort them. And secondly, I don't talk to boys ever. Ask any kid in school. And I really don't talk to snooty guys who expect me to be their slave. I started to walk away when Dennis grabbed my arm gently.
Wait, please. I'm sorry about my brother. He can be kind of a brat. He's the spoiled one in the family. My parents give him everything. Let me make it up to you. I'll buy you coffee. You seem like a really nice girl. We can be friends and get to know each other.
Oh, dear God. I tried pushing Dennis away, but he wouldn't give up. He followed me around all day like a puppy, desperate to be my friend. It was kind of convenient having someone carry all of my textbooks, but I didn't want to take advantage of him. Dennis wasn't as awful as I thought, at least not like Leon. While Dennis followed me around, Leon acted like a total arrogant jerk.
Your dress has a stain on it. Don't you have a washing machine at home?
I'm really not interested in your opinion. And in math class, he forced me to give up my seat.
I need to sit at the front of the class near the chalkboard. Otherwise, I can't concentrate.
When I said no, he whistled and 2 of his bodyguards came charging at me.
Where did they come from? They were about to pick me up when something inside me just snapped. I turned around to push them away, but when I did, I banged my head against the wall and I totally blacked out. Some hours later, I opened my eyes to find I was in the nurse's office with Dennis by my side holding an ice pack to my forehead.
You had kind of a scare back in the hall, and I wanted to make sure you were okay.
Okay, thanks. But you've known me for 2 freaking days. Why are you all over me?
I'm not trying to be creepy or anything. It just made me so mad when I saw how Leon acted towards you. My brother's evil, and I don't want him hurting anyone else the way he hurt me.
Before I could answer, Dennis told me all about Leon and all the horrible things he'd done to people. Apparently, Leon pulled all kinds of nasty pranks on Dennis, like leaving poisonous spiders in his underwear. But Dennis was most angry about Leon stealing his girlfriend last year.
He knew I loved her. I found him making out with her behind the school on her 6th-month anniversary.
I wasn't sure if it was because my head hurt or I felt lonely, but I enjoyed Dennis's company. After that day, I decided it wouldn't be a crime to hang out with him, so we became friends. Leon kept calling us boyfriend and girlfriend, but it was nothing I couldn't handle. It was just an annoying tease, and I had to put up with it. Then one day, Leon and Dennis decided to throw a huge party, and Dennis really wanted me to go. Fine, but only because I've never been to a rich person party before.
Oh, you'll have a blast. And if Leon tries to bug us, we'll glue his butt to a chair.
I laughed and was surprised how much I was looking forward to the party. I had lots of fun when I arrived, dancing to music, watching a movie in their private theater. Then towards the end of the night, the boys decided to play Truth or Dare. When it was my turn, Dennis dared me to jump into the pool with my clothes on.
Sorry, what? You can't jump in our pool.
Actually, I can because that's the rule of the game. I marched outside to the pool with the other kids, but as I stood at the edge of the pool, Leon grabbed my hand.
You are not jumping in that pool. We had a chemical leak yesterday, and Dennis knows it. That psycho is trying to kill you.
Don't touch me.
Just shut up, dude, and let Amelia jump in.
God, this guy was a piece of work. He just didn't want me to have fun. Then suddenly, Leon picked up a rock and threw it in the pool. And that's when I saw green bubbles surrounding it. There was a chemical leak. Did that mean?
See, I told you. Dennis is trying to hurt you, Amelia. He's been up to no good for a while, and I kept quiet. But this is just too much.
How about you continue to keep quiet, jerk?
What were they talking about? Then suddenly, Leon punched Dennis and he fell to the ground. Leon, stop!
Amelia, I have to talk to you.
Just give us space for a second, will you? Leon finally agreed and left me with Dennis. You tried to throw me in a pool filled with acid? That makes no sense. Why would you do something like that?
My brother and I can't have you around. That's all you need to know. I don't owe you an explanation.
Wait, what? As if I want to associate with you, psycho? I could have you locked up in jail. I kicked him as hard as I could and left him there. My God, he was wicked. I couldn't believe I'd ever trusted him. And what did Dennis mean when he said he couldn't have me around? God, I had so many questions. The next day at school, I tried to keep myself focused on schoolwork. I spent all of lunch in the library. But while I was looking through my textbook, someone's hands covered my eyes.
3 guesses who?
Oh, you again. Why are you suddenly being so nice to me? This is all so confusing.
Long story short, our families are enemies. My grandma owns half of Germany, and apparently your grandpa does too. They've been threatening and blackmailing each other for years. So Dennis has been out to get you. That's why he followed you around. And I was trying to be loyal to my family, which is why I was a jerk to you at first. But I should have put a stop to it all earlier. I'm really sorry.
You know my grandpa? All of this happened because of a war between his family and yours?
Yep, it's taken over our whole lives. Our parents were barely around when we were kids. It hurt me a lot, but I got over it. Dennis didn't, though. He especially hates your family. He thinks it's their fault that our parents neglected him. Dennis kinda turned into a psycho in general. Once, he put poisonous spiders in my underwear, and then another time, he stole my girlfriend just to piss me off.
Wait a second. Leon was saying the exact same things about Dennis that Dennis had said about Leon. Dennis really had been the culprit the whole time? God, what a mess. I slept for 14 hours after that day. Leon called me the next day and told me his parents had sent Dennis to juvie.
He set all my mom's dresses on fire when they got into a fight. That was kind of the last straw. I hope you're feeling better, Amelia. I was worried about you. Maybe we could get to know each other a little better?
That's really sweet, Leon. And I'm glad Dennis is out of the picture. But I'm better off not having any men in my life. All they've ever done is hurt me. Still, thanks for saving my life. I hung up the phone, but Leon didn't give up on me that quickly. He kept sending me funny memes and cheer-up messages. He also sent me links to his favorite MSA videos, which I loved, but I never replied to him. Then one day, something wild happened. I was brushing my teeth when my phone rang, and it was my dad. I spit my toothpaste all over the bathroom mirror.
Amelia, tell your friend to back off if he doesn't want to get seriously hurt.
Hey, Dad. Great to hear from you too after 6 years. Also, I don't know what you're talking about.
Your friend, Leon. Why would you be friends with our rivals anyway? He kept texting me to check up on you and be a better dad. Who does he think he is? And when I didn't reply, he turned up at the house. I had to get him thrown out by guards. But next time, I'll do worse.
Dad hung up without even saying goodbye. I immediately video called Leon to find him with a bandage on his head. Leon, you idiot! Why did you go to my dad's place? Did they hurt you?
Hey, no, I'm fine. Just hit my head when the guards threw me out. It was foolish, but I was just trying to make up for Dennis, and you deserve to have someone look out for you.
It was stupid, but I was so touched by what Leon did for me. Maybe not all men were out to hurt me after all. I really started warming up to Leon after that, and we talked often. And on my 16th birthday, I heard a knock at the door. It was Leon, and he was standing there with an envelope. I opened it to find concert tickets for my favorite band. Wow, this is amazing! But you didn't have to get me a present, Leon. You've been a really good friend.
There's 2 tickets in there. You obviously don't want to go alone. No chance I could ever be more than a good friend?
I really can't promise that, dude. But you never know what the future will hold for us. One afternoon in 1890, Clarissa was sipping tea at a garden party when suddenly a dog came running out of the bushes and tripped her. She fell flat on her back and screamed. Everyone rushed her inside quickly because Clarissa was heavily pregnant. An hour later, she gave birth to an adorable little girl. And that was me. Hi, I'm Agatha Christie, and this is my extraordinary story. Growing up, Mom and Dad spoiled me rotten because I was the youngest. But they were so overprotective, they wouldn't even let me go play in the park. You'll get lost, sweetums.
But I want to see the ducks by the pond.
Nasty ducks can bite your tiny fingers. Best to stay by our side.
But there were no schools or kids my age in the neighborhood, and my parents wouldn't teach me how to read.
You'll hurt your eyes, love. We'll teach you when you're a little older.
Like when I'm 5?
How about 8? I hated waiting. So I began teaching myself. I started reading when I was 4, and by the time I was 8, I had finished Alice in Wonderland. And I loved telling stories just as much. I didn't have any real friends, but my imaginary ones heard many of the tales I made up. I even had a poem published in the local newspaper when I was just 11. Life was good, but then everything suddenly changed. Dad fell ill and passed away, and a year later, my sister got married and my brother moved overseas. It was just me and my mom in our big house, and money was running out. I eventually wanted to get a job, but Mom refused.
You're a lady, Agatha. We don't take jobs. We get husbands who provide for us.
I'm 15, and waiting for a husband sounds stupid.
You're a gentleman's daughter, love, and you can only make money by marrying well.
Mom sent me off to boarding school in Paris to learn music, and I thought this was my chance to make money by becoming a professional opera singer or a pianist. But after 2 years, I gave up that goal because it was quite obvious I just didn't have the talent. I went back to find Mom looking weak, and it broke my heart that her life wasn't as good as before. One day we were out for a walk when we passed an antique shop, and Mom stopped to admire a beautiful pearl brooch. Should we ask the price, Mom?
Sweetheart, I already know we can't afford it. Come, let's go.
We'll be able to one day, I promise. I'm gonna get you that brooch. Soon after I turned 18, I came down with influenza, and the doctor strictly told me to stay in bed. Feeling bored and restless, I started writing again.
Agatha, these stories are brilliant. You should get these published.
I thought you didn't approve of working women.
I didn't know you could write this well. You have a real talent.
But every story got rejected, and I felt so frustrated. And Mom was still obsessed with getting me married. I agreed to go to a dance just to make her happy. I thought I looked cute till I got there. Every girl was dressed like royalty. Just then, a snobbish-looking girl walked up to me.
You, servant girl, why have you arrived so late? Go to the kitchen now and get more drinks for my friends.
Excuse me? Get them yourself.
How dare you speak to me like that? I'm Celeste Clearwater.
Is that supposed to mean something to me? I'm Agatha Miller, and it was not a pleasure to meet you. Before she could reply, all the girls around us gasped and rushed towards the entrance, and Celeste followed. They were all drooling over a man in uniform who'd just arrived, and well, I couldn't blame them.
Oh my goodness, Archie is handsomer than ever. Isn't he dashing? I heard he flies planes with his eyes closed.
Then he's not very good at it. Everyone turned to stare at me, including Archie. I was burning red with embarrassment, but he actually smiled. He walked past Celeste and came straight towards me.
You're absolutely right. Now, let me guess your profession. Writer?
I'm trying to be one. How did you know?
You have ink stains on your fingers. No need to be embarrassed. You're the first interesting person I've met at this dull party. So, tell me all about your writing.
Over the next few weeks, Archie swept me off my feet. He was funny and charming, and he supported my passion. And 3 months later, we were engaged. But soon after, World War I broke out all over Europe, and Archie was called to the front. I was a nervous wreck worrying about him, and I decided I had to keep myself busy. So I joined the Red Cross. Caring for injured soldiers made me feel useful, and even helped inspire ideas for writing. One Belgian officer in particular caught my attention. He had a head shaped like an egg and a magnificent walrus mustache. I could just picture him being the perfect detective in my stories, solving the hardest crimes. One day, I was carrying a pile of supplies when I accidentally spilled some water. A nurse came in at that moment, and before I could warn her, she slipped and fell hard on her butt. It was Celeste.
You did that on purpose.
It was obviously an accident. And what are you doing here anyway? Won't working with the poor ruin your nails?
And let you grab all the cute single officers? I don't think so.
I'm engaged.
Yes, I read about it in the papers. Trust me, it's not gonna last. Archie will come to his senses soon.
Celeste, I believe you're suffering from jealousy, and I have just the cure for it. 20 cc's of penicillin in your butt. But Celeste was determined to make my life miserable. She spent all her time trying to get me fired instead of doing her actual job. She even started a nasty rumor about me. Agatha has a dirty past. She went to France when she was 15 because she got pregnant by some chimney sweep. So shameful. That's a dirty lie. I went to boarding school.
And who will people believe? Me or a poor girl like you? Does Archie know about your past? I don't think he'll care anyway. I bet he's already found some beautiful European heiress. And he won't be coming back to you.
You know what? Let's write to him and find out. I'll write to him right now. Dear Archie. No, that's too dry. My shining North Star, though I indubitably trust you, a girl who claims to care for me deeply has warned me of your feckless heart. Although the girl in question is of limited intelligence, they do say mad, crazy lunatics can say some wise, deep things. What do you think, Celeste? Too flowery? But Celeste looked crazy with jealousy. She charged at me, but the head nurse came in just then and caught her red-handed. Celeste was fired for her outburst and all the mistakes she'd made at work. But her words made me worry even more. I hadn't heard from Archie in weeks, and checking the casualty lists was driving me insane. One foggy night, I was walking back home from work when I suddenly felt like I was being followed. Just as I was about to make a run for it, the figure caught me by my wrist, and I turned around and gasped, "Archie, oh my God, it's really you? Why didn't you reply to my letters or tell me you were coming?"
We don't always get our letters, love. And this was meant to be a surprise. Aren't you happy to see me?
Of course I am. I was so worried something had happened to you, or maybe you'd found someone else.
What a silly idea. There's no one like you, Agatha, and I won't go back before I marry you and make you mine.
And he kissed me deeply, and I felt like I was flying. We got married on Christmas Eve, and it was one of the happiest days of my life. Archie went back to the front, and I finally finished my novel. I sent it to every